great Monday morning, you all. How are you all doing? Happy Monday. This is your girl, Shan. Like I say every week, I hope and pray that your week is starting off amazing, even though it actually started yesterday. But let me say your Monday, your work week, that it has started off amazing. I always encourage individuals to make sure that you have a positive mindset on this morning, okay? Not just this morning, but for the rest of the week. So I'm going to go ahead, get into my little church announcement. I got to tell y'all about the radio show because that's how all this in a sense came about. Good morning, Delisha. Good morning, Tasha. How are you doing? Good morning, Sabrina. Come on, y'all. Y'all better come on in here this morning. But let me tell you about tonight's show, Marriage Mondays with the Kings. We will be on at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on KRGN 98.5 FM, The Rock. Tonight, we're going to be talking about or speaking about take your mask off. That is the topic. Take your mask off. The question of the week being this: why do you think it is so hard for husbands/wives? Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Andre. Husbands/wives to be vulnerable with their spouse. Why do you think it is so hard for husbands/wives to be vulnerable with their spouse? So we're going to be talking about that again at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on KRGN 98.5 FM. In the description of this, it will tell you how to get to our website. If you want to listen in, we have various ways. You can go to our website at www.marriagemondayswiththekings.com. Click on the Listen Here tab, and you'll see all the ways that you can join us on tonight, because we commonly get that question like, how do I listen to y'all? And then, of course, don't forget we're on YouTube as well. Now, let me go ahead and get into this morning's topic, just giving you just a little something to think about. Unrealistic expectations. Oh, yes, that's what we're going to talk about on this morning, or speak about. Hey, Angela, unrealistic expectations. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say this. This is one of the main reasons that I feel and believe that marriages fail. This is just one of them. I ain't saying this, I think it's one of them. Unrealistic expectations. But there's a two-parter to that. Number one, if you are currently going through in your marriage, and or maybe you went through and you got through some things and things are good, they're on the up and up right now. Ask yourself, is it due to having unrealistic expectations when it comes to your spouse? Is it that you desire for them to be something that you can't even effectively communicate with them what your desire is, but you get mad when they don't meet it? Now, how crazy does that sound? Just think about it. Again, you have an expectation of your spouse, something in your mind, how you desire for them to be. You cannot effectively communicate that to them. Not saying that you want to change them or whatever the case may be, but yet and still you get mad when they don't meet that expectation, whatever the expectation is. That is a good definition, if you will, in the Shan plain version of how to break down what an unrealistic expectation is when it comes to your spouse. So, I always like to, be transparent and let y'all know whatever the case may be. But when I think about individuals, and those of you who are single, okay, those of you, because we never like to leave out our singles, I want you to think about this, especially if you're in a relationship, you're going to be married, or whatever the case may be. What are some expectations that you desire of your spouse to have? Now, that's number one. Number two, can you even meet your own expectations that you have of your spouse? Okay. Now, the two-parter that I was talking about, one is the unrealistic expectation. The other one is, and I posted this on our page and it was so powerful. I was like, golly, individuals fall in love with the presentation of someone versus getting to know the content. So you marry the presentation, what is in front of you, but you do not take the time to get to know the individual, to get to know their heart, to get to know what they are, what their makeup is, where you came from, things of that nature. But the first thing we want to do, if we be honest, is say marriage don't work. Now, I'm going to ask this, and y'all know I always bring it back on us as individuals because I had to think about this. Us as individuals, I need you to ask yourself, are you willing to take the individual responsibility of falling in love with what was presented before you instead of getting to know the content? That's the question I want to ask individuals. So you get mad at your spouse because they're showing you, which is wrong. I think it's wrong. This me. I'm being real on this morning. But they're showing you a pretty package. with a beautiful bow on it. They're showing you this nice what is it, 7 Series BMW? I don't even know. They're showing you this nice Mercedes Benz. They're showing you all these beautiful things on the outside, but you fall in love with what you see and you never get to know them as an individual. Now, maybe because I'm one who's a future forward thinker, I'll say this, and some of y'all gonna be like, Shan, I don't know about that. You wrong for that. Okay, think about individuals who are around my age. I'm 43 years old. If you have worked to establish yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, and you are single and you desire to be married, trust and believe, because you've worked so hard and did the work on you, or at least I pray that you did, that you're not just going to let anybody come in and disturb that in a negative way, I would think. So, for example, I'm a numbers person. I love numbers. It's kind of weird. I think that's my little addiction or whatever. I'm a numbers person. I love figuring out different math problems and different things like that. No, I cannot tutor your kids at home. I got two that I got to work with here. So with that being said, if I was to marry somebody, because I was thinking about this, if I was single and I was to marry somebody, one of my requirements, and this is just me, credit scores are looking kind of nice right now. And worked on it. But if I'm bringing things to the table, one of my requirements, I'm going to need to see your credit report. Run me a credit report. I'm going to need to see the numbers. Because some of us understand, and I'm thinking about this, but this is just me. I want you all to think about as I'm talking. If you were single right now, drop the comments. If you were single right now, what are some things that you will require when it comes to you joining in marriage with someone else? What would be your requirements? What have you worked so hard on that when they join with you, no, this is one of my requirements. And the reason why, people may think, okay, good morning, Latoya. People may think, okay, Shan, that's a little crazy. You want them to show you your credit score. I expect that. That's my expectation because I've worked too hard. As soon as I join with you in marriage and I name going documents and all that thing, guess what? Your jacked up credit will mess up my credit. And I don't have a problem with that because when me and my husband got married in Germany, before we could even get married, we had to have an AIDS test. Them Germans didn't play. And if you was positive for AIDS and your spouse didn't know and they wasn't okay, or your future spouse, guess what? They wasn't going to marry you. So let me tell you the second part of this real quick. The second part of this that I have an issue with. Now, you may have been guilty of falling in love with the presentation and not getting to know the content. But the second part of it is that irritates me is when you have individuals, and we're going to be talking about vulnerability tonight in marriage, but when you have individuals that you can't be transparent with the individual that you're getting ready to say, I do too. Why are you sitting up here lying, and why is it important for you to act like you balling and shot calling like we used to say back in the day? Why is it so important for you to put on airs or put on the front? I don't know what terms y'all used to use, but why is that so important for you to basically act like you are perfect? But then you get mad at your spouse because guess what? This is what you presented to me in the beginning. You presented this nice, pretty picture, but because you are now in a marriage and you are not willing and or desire to continue to maintain this representative, if you will, that you presented, then you get mad at me and you say I'm a bad wife or you say I'm a bad husband. But this is what you did. You made it seem like you was balling. You the one pulled up in that 7 Series, but you never told me it was your cousins. Because when I asked, you know what I'm saying? You made it seem like your finances was together. And that's the second part of it that really irritates me. We are too grown to be sitting out here in these streets lying. Really? We are too grown to be putting on the front. So you cannot get mad at your spouse if they expect you, and that's a realistic expectation. They expect you to live up to what it is that you presented to them. That's why a lot of marriages fail. Because you have individuals. So it's a two-part. Number one is my responsibility to do the work. It's my responsibility to research this out. Now I'm not trying to pick you out as a, if I was single, I'm not trying to pick you out and say you got to be perfect. But all I'm asking is for you to be real. Because my thing is if you lying in the beginning, then the marriage is going to be a joke from the jump. You know what I'm saying? So if you, number one, is not putting in the work to say, okay, let me sit back and see how he talked to his mama. Because I don't know if I can sit up here and say I do and you sitting up here cussing at your mama. Because see, I'm from Oklahoma. We don't disrespect our elders. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. We don't do that. And so, but then the flip side is when you get mad at your spouse, because your husband or your wife expect you to maintain what it is that you presented to them in the beginning. Only thing I'm gonna say is this: just be real. You know what I'm saying? If you can't love your husband or your wife the way that, good morning, Becky, the way that God wants you to love them, then be real with them and say, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't feel that I'm capable of loving you the way that you desire to be loved. I don't feel that I could actually love you because I don't know what love is. See, I will respect the truth that somebody sitting up here lying to me and you putting on a whole facade big as day. You know what I'm saying? So these are some of the issues that I don't understand why people who are in it, come on, I'm 40s, you my age or you're older, and you sitting up here still doing stuff like this. Good morning, Don. But then you wonder why marriage don't work. Good morning, Heather. And then you sitting up here and blaming God and marriage don't work. Marriage is a joke. No, boo-boo. You out here trying to make it seem like you big balling and shot calling. You set up here and presented to this young lady like you was all that. Good morning, Cousin Kim. But then you get mad when she found out the truth because she was falling in love with the representative, she or he. This can go either way. And so if you don't have a good work ethic, but the individual that you marrying got a good work ethic or they got a good business sense. See, this is where individuals come into the marriage and you think that you can just ride. Good morning, Jonathan. You think that you can just ride off the back of your spouse. Oh, they gonna carry me. Women is good for this. Sorry, y'all. Women is good for this and men do it too. Now, men didn't do it in the beginning, but women, I heard women all day. And I'm sitting up here looking like, cause see, I'm not that type of chick. Yeah, girl, I'm about to marry him, honey. He gonna take care of me. He gonna do this. He gonna do that. You got all these expectations and you think you supposed to be just sitting back and chilling. Unrealistic expectations. What's up, Phoenix? And so these are the things that I don't understand. I'ma say this because y'all know we are very passionate when it comes to marriage. Quit giving marriage a bad name. Good morning, Sylvia. If you not doing the work. If you not doing what need to be done, quit giving marriage a bad name because you sitting up here fronting like you can be the provider. You fronting like you can actually love her. You fronting like you really want a family and all this other kind of stuff like that. But then when she find out who you really are, when you take off that mask, come on, Toya, I love that book. When you finally, the mask fall off and it reveals who you truly are, instead of you sitting up here taking the responsibility and the blame and say, you know what, baby, yeah, I was fronting. I'm just going to be real. Because guess what? When you do not be transparent with the individual that you are going to call your spouse, like I said, how can you expect God to bless a mess? That's a mess from the beginning. That is a lie from the beginning. But instead of us as adults saying, I lied, I'm sorry, we're not giving it, which is unfair. We're not giving an individual laying it out for them to see whether or not they actually, you know what I'm saying, want to marry you or not. And so, but we rather front and then we get mad. And then we say marriage don't work. And then instead of us blaming ourselves, and when you get out here in these streets because the divorce didn't happen, instead of you saying, nah, I can't blame him. He was a good husband. It was actually me. I had unrealistic expectations because I seen him rolling that Mercedes Benz or that brand new Tesla. And I thought that, hey, I look cute on the passenger side and he just gonna sit up here and take care of me and I didn't have to bring nothing to the table. I'm just gonna be real. That's just how I am or whatever. It wasn't him. See, people don't do that. So that's why when people get to in a sense, and everybody don't do this, but when people get to complaining about they ex-spouse or whatever, I just be sitting back looking like, Now, some stuff that you're saying is actually true, but a lot of it is not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sitting up here like, some don't sit right in my spirit with that. I think you lie. Baby, you ain't going to impress me with your lies and stuff like that. And so that's what, are you walking in unrealistic expectations? If you're going through in your marriage right now, are you walking in unrealistic expectations? Are you, or are you walking in real expectations because it's based off of what it is that the individual presented to you when you all were dating? So this is what I'm advised to my singles. Don't be so quick to jump. You know what I'm saying? Get to know the inside of the individual. It is very important for me. This is what I'm thinking, to get to know three things for sure. What is their mind like? How do they operate? When they get upset, what do? Do they sit down and talk about it like a rational adult? Number one. Number two, do they try to talk about it, but they make you the problem? Is that what they do? Or do they click, tick, and boom? They going off. They cussing. They fighting. They putting their hands on you. They're becoming aggressive towards you. So see what that mind is like. See what that physical body is like. Because I know the vows that we take say for better or for worse, in richer and poor, in sickness and in health. I need to know because I really want to know what it is that I'm going to be taking on. And for me, it's very important. I need to know what your finances is like. I don't mind working and grinding with anybody, but don't act like you a certain way. And then when we get into it, baby, we got two nickels to run together because we don't even have two nickels because you got an addiction. See, these are the things in the 40s, because I was sitting up there, man, if I was single, how would I do it? Baby, I ain't playing no games. I want somebody I can vacation with. I want somebody that I can roll with. I want somebody I can laugh with. I ain't got time to be sitting up here arguing with you. Don't nobody have time for that kind of energy, aura, spirits, whatever in their life. Don't nobody have time for that negativity. So ask yourself, and what I just said this morning, what category do you fall into? One thing I will say is we too grown to be sitting at her front like we got it going on when we don't. 2020 revealed a lot. So be transparent with the individual that you say you love and let them make the choice of whether or not they really want to be with you. Don't have your lip poked out and you out here in these streets lying on them, talking about, oh, they ain't worth nothing. Oh, they used me. They did this and all this kind of stuff like that. When reality is you. Because let me tell you what I know. God is a revealer. You hear me? And especially if you end up getting somebody that put some prayer on it, baby, the truth is going to come out. Because people going to be like, hold up. So I know this is a good dude over here. I know this is a good chick over here. But every time you speak, you saying blase blah. It's going to be revealed, okay? And then the common denominator is going to be you, all right? So join us tonight, Marriage Mondays with the King, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on KRG and 98.5 FM. If you want to listen in to our radio show, go to www.marriagemondayswiththekings.com. The link is in the description. Make sure you share this because it's time for us to walk in realness. It's time for us to walk in truth. We too old to be playing games. You see what I'm saying? So join us tonight. I love our question of the week. Why do you feel that husbands/wives cannot be vulnerable with their spouse? Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that mask and vulnerability. So y'all have a blessed week. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Be a blessing to somebody this week and not a curse. Share this because it's free. And your girl Sharon, wait a minute. Yep, I'll be back with y'all next week because next weekend ain't President's Day. You know I'm usually off on a federal holiday. But I'll be back with y'all next Monday with whatever it is that God placed on my heart. So listen to this again. Drop what you think in the comments because I do come back and I individually take the time to respond because I thank y'all for getting up with your girl. So y'all have a blessed week and blessings to you.